Of course, everyone blames me, the most amazing goddess ever, Eris, for starting the Trojan War, but it's not my fault. It's all Peleus's and Thetis' fault. They didn't invite me to the wedding. Gods and their prophecies, ugh. I mean, who cares if I'm the goddess of discord, right? So for some payback, I rolled an apple into the wedding with the words "for the fairest" written on it, and you know who starts fighting over it? Juno, Minerva, and Venus. They all think they're the fairest? Please. Everybody knows I am. So the three goddesses go over to Jupiter and try to get him to decide which of them is the fairest among them. And he's supposed to decide between his wife, his favorite daughter, and the goddess of beauty. In response to this, Jupiter does the one smartest thing in his entire existence, which is to get somebody else to decide for him. This mortal, Paris, got to choose. He chose neither the brains that Minerva offered him or the power that Juno offered him. He chose the lady that Venus offered him. Boys are so stupid. He made Troy the enemy of the two scariest goddesses, and the two losers, Peleus and Thetis, who didn't even invite me to the wedding, had a child called Achilles. His prophecy was to die young and be great and famous, or to live so long but be so boring. Thetis, of course, did not want her pretty little son to die, so she dipped him in the river Styx by the heel. This left his little heel. Meanwhile, Helen, the princess of Sparta, was basically being auctioned off. Women these days can't get a break. Like, come on, people. Ulysses had this great idea that if Helen ever goes missing, all the suitors would come together and help find her. So of course, Menelaus got married to Helen. And it was just so convenient that Venus was not happy with Menelaus. So she is the one who takes Helen and gives Helen to Paris, and thus the war begins, everyone slowly gathering, some needing convincing more than others. Ulysses! Excuse me for my throat clear. With help from Ulysses, the Greek soldiers found Achilles dressed as a woman in Skyros. He was there because his mother wanted him to live a long and healthy and so boring of a life. Anyways, they got Achilles to join the war against Troy. Yay for them! Years later, boys are slow, you gotta give them like 9 or so years, one of Agamemnon's men decides, why not make this time longer? And goes and kills one of Diana's favorite deer. And these goddesses are really not on your side. Diana commands the winds to stop and demands that Iphigenia, Agamemnon's daughter, to be sacrificed. And like Father of the Year, he agrees. Men these days, am I right? He kills her. Or so he thought. His wife, Clytemnestra, was not too happy, as you can imagine, so when he got home, she just had to ask him a question. The war continued on for many years, and after winning one battle, Agamemnon takes Chryseis, a daughter of an Apollo priest, as a reward. Achilles goes absolutely ballistic and joins the war again, determined to get revenge for his cousin. He does so by killing Hector, and then drags Hector's body around the walls of Troy. This grosses everyone out. Eventually, Hector's father, Priam, goes to Achilles and begs him, please give me back my son. In doing so, Achilles was reminded of his own father, who he will not see again. So he agrees. Achilles eventually gets killed by Paris when Paris shoots him in the heel with an arrow and dies. Ironically, Paris later gets shot by an arrow of Hercules. Finally, that guy got on my nerves. Achilles' death raised the question, who would get his magical armor? It came down to two men, Ulysses and Big Ajax, and to decide, they held a competition. There were two parts in this competition. There was one fighting part and one speaking part. Ulysses lost the fighting part, but got some good blows in. He ended up eventually winning the speaking part, so he got to keep the armor. Big Ajax is so frustrated by this, he wakes up in the middle of the night to kill Ulysses. In the morning, he then realizes he just killed a herd of sheep. Solid. But so ashamed that he thought he killed Ulysses, or attempted to, he killed himself. Ulysses comes up with this great plan to build a giant wooden horse to try to trick the Trojans into bringing it in the walls. Now Laocoon, a Trojan, tells the Trojans not to let this horse in, and he even attempts to throw a spear into it to prove that it's evil. Neptune, who was on the Greek side, was not amused by this and sent serpents to kill Laocoon and his sons. Man, that's harsh. The horse gets brought into the walls and the Trojan feast that night thinking they've won, but nope, later the Greeks jump out and kill them all. However, in doing this, the Greeks destroyed many of the temples, so the gods who think I'm the drama queen are not too happy about this. Thus, most of the Greeks didn't even make it home.